Welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Anna Middleton. Alongside me is DJ Bauer to deliver Bauertology. We're only a weeks away from Selection Sunday, but before we start filling out our March Madness brackets, let's take a look at which teams could potentially be selected to play in the NCAA tournament. So DJ, let's start out with the East region. What's going on here?
All right, so the number one overall team in the country right now is Duke. This really shouldn't surprise anybody. They've been playing lights-out basketball all season long, and they've proven it with wins against the likes of Louisville, Texas Tech, Kentucky, and Virginia twice. And when you've got players on your team like R.J. Barrett, Zion Williamson, and Cam Reddish, this is one of the best teams in the country both offensively and defensively. It wouldn't be surprised to see them stay as the number one seed and make a push to the Final Four. However, they would have a couple challenges in this bracket. Marquette's been playing very well with Marcus Howard, and so has LSU, and Michigan, who was in the title game last year. So they've got a couple challenges if this ends up being their region.
DJ, every year it seems like we have an underdog team that comes out of nowhere. Do you see a team in this region that could be this year's Cinderella?
Yes, I do. It's the number 9 seed right here, the Wofford Terriers. They're a very good mid-major team. They're 21-4 overall, with their losses only coming against other tournament teams, and they're still undefeated in their conference. They're led by senior Fletcher McGee, who's averaging 20 points a game and shooting .430 from the field. I think that he's going to be the Steph Curry or Kemba Walker that gets an underdog like this on a run. Now, of course, if they were able to get out of this first round here against Texas, the next matchup would be against Duke, which, as we know, is no easy task. But this game would be played in Columbia, South Carolina, so it's essentially a home game for Wofford. If there's any mid-major that can pull off an upset of that magnitude, it's Wofford.
Now let's move to the Midwest region. Here you have Tennessee as a number 1 seed, despite the fact that they just lost to Kentucky. Why do you still have them at top?
Well, whenever you're analyzing these teams, you have to look at their full body of work, and Tennessee really stands out with the rest of them. They've only got 2 losses this year, coming to 2 very good teams in Kansas and Kentucky, and they've got wins against Gonzaga and Louisville. So Tennessee is a top 5 program, and I think they should stay at the top on this 1-seed line. If they do stay at number 1, though, they'll have a couple challenges in this region. Michigan State, even without Josh Langford, is expected to be very good. Kansas has had a couple problems this year, but they've remained a powerhouse in the Big 12. And other teams like Louisville, Auburn, or Iowa, they can get on streaks too.
Now, you never mentioned Villanova. They won it last year. Why didn't you mention them?
Well, Villanova is a team that I think could potentially get back into it, but it's going to be difficult. They are the defending national champions, but they lost a whole bunch. Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Michael Bridges, they all went to the NBA. But they do have some senior power in Eric Paschal, Phil Booth, Drew Cremo, and Jay Wright's an excellent coach, and his team really seems to turn on the heat coming March, so I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Villanova made another run.
Up next is the Midwest region with Virginia at number 1. Virginia made history last year by becoming the first ever number 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed. Do you see them doing this again this year?
I don't think so. I mean, this is a team that is very good, both on the defensive end and considering how they make you play basketball, slow. They're very good in that too. If you want to beat Virginia, you're going to need to adjust to their level, and that's really tricky.
Of course, the road to the Final Four is never an easy one. Who do you think could cause some trouble for Virginia?
Well, on this side of the bracket here, a team that I could see causing some trouble is Wisconsin. Now, Virginia did play the Badgers earlier this year and escaped with a 7-point win. But when John Wooden Award possibility Ethan Happ is on the court, being a senior for Wisconsin, that's always very difficult out. Another team that I could potentially see causing some trouble is Houston. They've only got 1 loss all year, and they've played against some very good teams like LSU, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Cougars cause some trouble. And of course, we have to mention Kentucky. I mean, this is a team that is a blue blood in the tournament, led by John Calipari. He's a national championship winning coach. I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky made a run for the title too.
Finally, we have the West region. Here you have Gonzaga as the number 1 seed.
Yeah, this Gonzaga team is especially a very good team. They've had some good teams in the past, but I think this may be the best team that there's ever been. This is national championship material right here. They beat Duke, they took Tennessee to the wire, and they're averaging wins in conference by 28 points, which is absolutely unheard of. Even with Killian Tilly injured, they've still got a starting rotation of Clark, Hachimura, Perkins, and Norvell. Nobody wants to play them in March Madness. Not Purdue, not Nevada, and not even North Carolina, who beat them earlier this year.
Now, we've been talking about the top teams for a while. Let's talk about the bubble. Do you think it will change?
Yeah, I think it would probably will. This is a weak bubble year. Not many of the teams hanging around the bubble, I think, could make like big runs in the tournament or anything. But there are a couple teams that are in consideration. Alabama and Nebraska are just outside of it. So is Temple. Indiana's been on a losing streak, but if they're hot, I think that they'll get back into it. And even Arizona State, who's been crazy inconsistent with wins over Kansas and losses to Penn and Washington State, they could sneak in there as well. So there's still plenty to decide with almost a month left to play.
All right, that will do it for Bauertology as we approach Selection Sunday. Stay tuned to find out these projections may change over time. If you just can't get enough of Bauertology, be sure to check out bauertology.blogspot.com with updates coming every Sunday and Thursday morning. For DJ Bauer, I'm Anna Middleton. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSNTV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.